What's going on, everybody? This is Kelso from Exiled Power, back with another Enhancement Shaman / Melee video. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my UI setup, not only for my Enhancement Shaman, but also for just Melee in general. As a disclaimer, these are my preferences, these are my thoughts. Whatever works for you obviously works best for you. But this is something to use, I guess, as a stepping stone in order to potentially format your UI in a way that may be most beneficial for not only yourself, but your raid as a whole. And in addition to that, I'm going to sort of talk about some of the add-ons that I use that not only help me in a raiding setting, but just also for my own personal use on a day-to-day basis, whether it be in the auction house or in the World of Warcraft fishing, for example. So, if we take a look at my UI right now, there are a lot of things going on that may not be different than most other individuals that play the game. Now, that's probably because most people don't use the default Blizzard UI. They'll use an add-on that helps them customize it to their liking. My personal preference is ElvUI. This is in no way sponsored by ElvUI, although that would be pretty cool. I have it set up right now to my liking. It took me a few hours initially when I first downloaded the add-on to sort of tweak it to the way that I needed it to be. Over the past year or so that I've been using it, it's that time to set it up in case it breaks has been reduced significantly, so I can probably get it done in about an hour now if everything were to break. The way that I have it set up currently, I have my character frame here on the left-hand side and my target frame on the right-hand side. I have them situated very much in my line of sight, just to be able to see the target that I'm currently attacking and my own health and resource. Management is very, very much in my line of sight versus being in the top left-hand corner if you're used to the default Blizzard UI. I have my target of target down here, sort of in a way where I can see it, but also out of my immediate line of sight. I can always glance down and look at my target of target, whether if it's a raid boss, my target's target will be most likely one of the main tanks in the raid. I can have a focus target. My focus target's right under my target frame. This way it's pretty simple and easy to use if I so choose. Moving over to my left-hand side of the screen, which unfortunately, my bottom left-hand corner of the screen, which you cannot see, that's my chat box. It's pretty basic. I have my general and combat log chat boxes. That's it. I don't have different windows open for multiple chats and everything. Everything is pretty default in that sense. However, on the right-hand side here, I have my DPS meters and my healing meters. So I am a very large supporter of the add-on damage meter details. It is one of the more resource-intensive damage meters that are out there. You can use SCADA, which is probably the most popular, Recount, which was popular a few expansions ago and has since sort of fallen off the curve. But I prefer details. I think it's the most accurate and it provides the most information at a glance, as you can see here real quick. You know, just some easy stuff. Now, the way that I set this up in ElvUI is you have to, real quick, you'll have to download a secondary ElvUI add-on called AddOnSkins, and in that AddOnSkins add-on, which is sort of a part of the ElvUI mainframe, you'll see this setting called Embed Settings. Now, Embed Settings is great if you want to set up split windows like I have here for damage and healing, or you can easily do DPS, or CC broken, whatever you want to track. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you can do it with this nifty little add-on called AddOnSkins. Embed Settings, enable dual embed system, and as long as you have this right chat box enabled, you'll be able to embed it in there, and then you won't be able to move it around. So if you just by accident try to drag it and whatever, it'll stay there. So it stays within that frame, and it's really nice, really clean. I absolutely love it. I have no issues with it, and it's wonderful. In that same vein, if you've downloaded ElvUI, I use Shadow and Light just because I like the way that looks the best. There's this nifty secondary add-on to download as well called Square Minimap Buttons. That's this sort of window over here that has these little minimap buttons off underneath, rather than sort of populating the map window. That's one of those quality of life add-ons that I've been using for about a year now, and it makes the UI look a lot cleaner, which I really love. As you can see, everything is sort of like in a corner type thing, or all the way down to the bottom of my screen. Everything sort of has its place. And so if I were to show you everything and how my entire UI is set up, if we go into toggle anchors, now this may be an overload for a lot of people, and by no means is every single bar set up. It's not. I've set up essentially what my needs are for the add-on, and things that happen on a day-to-day basis where I would need it. So again, we can see that arena frames and boss frames are both on this right side of my screen here. So if I'm targeting a boss that has, let's say, three bosses, like let's say Everbloom, right? You have the three bosses, depending on the order that you do them in. It could be the second boss, it could be the third, fourth boss. I mean, again, there's the three bosses there, and so each one of their frames will show up on the right hand side of my screen there, which makes target switching relatively easy, if I didn't want to tap target. In that same sort of vein, down here on the left hand side of my screen, unfortunately it's a little bit cut off for you guys, but I have my party frames, I have my raid frames, and I have my 40-man raid frames set up, so that in the event I'm in a 40-man raid or whatever, it's all set up. And I'll sort of show you what a group setup would look like with my frames, and then I'll also show you what a 40-man raid, or a raid in general, looks like with my frames. The beauty about ElvUI, and I can't stress this enough, is the customization. Again, you need to play whatever you feel, or I'm sorry, use whichever add-on you feel suits your needs the most. But for my needs as a higher-end raider, somebody that likes to have full customization on their UI. I mean, I'm an Android user, for Christ's sake. I think that should speak for itself. I like to have full customization of everything that I'm seeing and that I'm looking at. So this enables all of that. It enables you to change the direction that your bars are situated. If you want things to, grow out horizontally versus vertically, you can do that. If you want things to grow out vertically versus horizontally, you can do that too. So there's a whole array of options that you can have, and it's really, really wonderful as far as I'm concerned. So that's sort of a quick look at my ElvUI and how that's set up. Now, a few other add-ons that I use for my own rating purposes. I think unanimously either Deadly Boss Mods, DBM, or Bigwigs are the two boss timer mods that you need in order to be able to raid effectively. Again, your preference. Mine is DBM, just because that's what I've been using for 10 years. So very used to that. And to go along with that, we use Exorsus raid tools for assigning positions in a raid. Cormrock, for example, with his not gripping hands, for his one-hand phase where everybody sort of needs to stand in a spot to soak the green stuff on the floor in order to not make the entire raid wipe. That's about as best as I can describe it. I do things. I don't pay attention to anything else. Our raid leader assigns us a position with Exorsus raid tools. This way it shows you sort of where to be, your position, how to handle that mechanic. And for me, that's what I use. That's what we use as a guild. In addition, let's see here. You can see a list of my my add-ons here. Oh, perfect. Weakauras. Weakauras are this thing that came into play in my recent World of Warcraft career. I would say probably within the past year or two. And they're one of those add-ons that you don't need. We have plenty of people in our guild that perform at a top level tier without using them, because they're very on top of their class rotationally, and don't forget about cooldowns, this, that, and whatever. And so they don't need to use Weakauras for their own class management. I'm one of those people that, yes, rotationally, mechanically, I'm very sound, but at the same time, it's always nice to have a reminder. So prior to 7.0, with Enhancement Shamans, we had a spell called Unleash Elements, and so I had a nice Weakaura on the the left side of my screen, right by my character portrait, and every time it was off cooldown, it would just pop up there, which was a constant reminder, oh hey, click that button, because it was such a high priority spell. As you can see in the middle of my screen, there's a Weakaura that it looks like there's an awkward gap missing. Right now there is, but in that small little window right here, to the left of this left 0, there come Legion will be a cooldown Doom Winds that will populate that area once the spell is active. This Weakaura I did not make. It was provided to the world, to all Enhancement Shamans, by our resident Theria Crafter and the big name Enhancement Shaman in the world, Word Up. So this is his Weakaura. It provides a lot of information for Enhancement Shaman, as far as debuffs, buffs, and things to track. So real quick, I'll just fly myself over to a target dummy, and I'll start hitting him, and you'll see a couple things, and then I'll break down what you're seeing afterwards. So, you know, if you take a look right now, it's showing that I have the Boulder Fist buff activated, I have the Flame Tongue buff activated, and the Frostbrand buff activated, all at the same time, with just a cooldown remaining on each. The middle bar over here shows my Maelstrom. This little bar underneath showed my cooldown for Feral Lunge. This cooldown over here shows the duration currently of my Spirit Walk, right? Because I'm currently using it, and then after it's over, now it shows the cooldown remaining. So, fantastic Weakora. If you're an Enhancement Shaman, I highly encourage you to at least check this Weakora out. Come Legion, again, there will be more things to keep track of inherently, because we will get a few more spells, and this Weakora is already designed for that purpose. Before, as I was attacking the target dummy, you saw that I had a few spells, sort of, or a few auras, I should say, sort of stacking up above my character portrait. Now, for example, if I were to use an agility potion, right, it would basically show the duration of my agility potion. This option is somewhat redundant if you show your buffs up here, but again, I like to see things as well down here, just for my own purposes, so I've enabled both the buff icon and the duration aura in my ElvUI settings. So, we've covered, so far, ElvUI and the secondary add-ons that sort of piggyback ElvUI, like AddOnSkins and the square minimap button, Shadow and Light, which is part of ElvUI. We covered Details, which was our damage healing meter. We've covered Weakauras, and so now I just want to go through a couple, I guess, add-ons that make my life a lot easier. One of them being Fishing Buddy. If you're a fisherman, fisherwoman, fishing person in general, check out Fishing Buddy. It's just it's one of those cool add-ons that anytime you equip a fishing pole, you can set a keybind, like double right click, to start casting in the water. In addition to Fishing Buddy, I have a lot of alts, as you hopefully saw in my previous Garrison Gold video that I made. It was a joke. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I apologize if you didn't enjoy it. But I have a lot of alts, right? So an add-on that I use is Altaholic. If you haven't heard of this add-on and you have a lot of alts, you need to check out this add-on. When you log in all of your characters, it compiles a list of information from those characters. It basically does what you'd want an alt add-on to do, and it records all of the items that each character of yours has. This way, all you need to do is type in this search bar over here, as long as you have it set to the default. You know, my realm is Arthas, you know, all your characters, and so we'll see if I want to search for something like I don't know, Dranic Dust, right? Right, it'll show that this character of mine right? Anything that has the word Draenic in it, it'll pull up. Dust, coin, potion, for all of my characters on the realm. And this is invaluable because, you know, you really don't have any other way of tracking all of this information unless you log in and out of each character, and that can take quite a bit of time. So that saves you a whole mess of time if you so choose to use it. Another add-on that I use is MogIt. For people that like transmog, I do. This helps you sort of figure out, you know, what transmog sets you want to create. There are different modules, as you can see. I'm a male wearer, so let's say I want to find cool shoulders. Boom. It opens up a list of shoulders, and this way the little check marks in the corners tell you which skins you currently own. The other ones, obviously, are skins that you don't own. I don't have too many skins, all in all. But, at the same time, this is a really neat add-on for people that are interested in transmogging. What else? Oh, this is a really underrated add-on, I think. But it's called Flash Taskbar. And if you like to play in windowed mode, which I do, full screen windowed mode, I like to tab out and in of the game and, you know, do various things. It's really nice because if I'm looking at my second screen here and I may be waiting in queue for something, I may not be paying attention to my monitor that has World of Warcraft playing on it. But if a queue pops or if a ready check is initiated, the World of Warcraft item at the tray in your computer, you know, the bottom bar of your computer, will start to blink orange. And so for me, if I'm looking at my screen on the left over here, and I see some orange blinking down by my World of Warcraft icon, I know, okay, well, let me look back at my screen real quick and see if there's, excuse me, something going on. Really underrated, but again, if you're multitasking, doing a bunch of different things, maybe something interesting to look into. And really, I mean, I use a couple other add-ons. I use Trade Skill Master, TSM, for those of you that do a lot of auctioning and buying and selling from the auction house. I don't have it installed currently, but you know, that's a really hefty add-on with it's a very large add-on, and that's what I mean by hefty. Like, it could be close to 100 megabytes in size between all of the modules. So it has a very high learning curve, very steep learning curve, and it's somewhat difficult to get started, but once you put in some time to learn and watch some videos, and, you know, there are definitely a lot of people out there to learn from, it's a very powerful add-on, very powerful tool to make money, to buy things from the auction house more easily, that sort of thing. Highly recommended if you guys are interested in pursuing that sort of thing. And that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you'll take something away. If you have any questions regarding ElvUI or anything like that, just shoot me a message. I'll be happy to answer it. And I'll also try to list the add-ons that I use below, just so if you didn't catch it, or if you just want a TLDR version, you can just check it out in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.